to the group and tell us a little bit about who you are and where country of origin and anything else important that you'd like us to know about. Begin with you, Aretha.
My name is Aretha Kayum. I'm from Afghanistan. I became a refugee in 1980. And I went to India, but I was had my first son. He was 11 months old. And my husband and I, we went to India, from India, and we went to Pakistan. Then from Pakistan, we ended up to come here in 1982. And we came to Virginia, and we stayed for 3 months, and then we came back to Pullman, because my husband, he was having his PhD in WSU. And then we started our life here, and my children, I have 5 children. And my husband passed away actually after 15 months of the came here. And then I had 5 children, and then I raised them, and thank God, and all of them, they successful now. And 2 of them is in the stream of me. And we have we start our life, I'm happy and I'm, blessed by God.
Well, thank you for that. Going to your left.
My name is Reverend Mashimura, and I'm originally from Democratic Republic of Congo. My parents are refugees from Rwanda. They flew away from Rwanda from the 1994 genocide in Rwanda into Congo, where I was born. After that, with the war in Congo, we flew to Burundi, where we found refuge over there by the United Nations, UNHCR. So we stayed in Burundi since 2004, 2007, where we got accepted into coming to the United States as refugees. And so we ended up settling in Boise, Idaho. We got accepted by the Refugee of New America over there. And my family and I, at least most of my family, we've been living there since 2007 till now. So now I'm a student at the University of Idaho, studying international relations. This is going to be my senior year. So it's just a little bit basic background on myself.
All right. I'm going to your left.
My name is Sargon. I was born in Baghdad in 1994. We left there 4 years afterwards. We left Iraq in '98. Before that, my parents were kind of like running around the Middle East beforehand. They were in Kuwait. But after the Iraq invasion of Kuwait, this was in 1990, my dad was an Iraqi citizen, so he moved back to Iraq and brought my mom. When I was born in '94, we were only there for like 4 more years. And after that, when we fled, we left to Jordan first. Eventually, the plan was to go to Lebanon, where my mom's side of the family was. And it was always the plan to apply to be, to like the United Nations and be accepted as like refugees and be resettled somewhere else. That process took from when we got there to when we left in 2003, took about 4 years, and we came here in 2003. So I came to Boise. We were in the program was called World Relief. I think we're actually closing in Boise, unfortunately. I went to Lowell Elementary. We had the same elementary school teacher, different years, but in 6th grade, Kim Miles. And I'm a senior at U of I. I'm studying political science and international studies.
Well, we'll kind of work our way back down the table now. So I'll start with you, Sargon. Although it may seem obvious, if you could each briefly discuss the circumstances that led your family to the point where you decided, or your family decided, that you needed to leave and you needed to become refugees and get started on this journey as refugees.
So I would say, so as soon as, I would say it started in Kuwait, obviously, because that's when things, the UN obviously had, the Security Council passed the resolution, the coalition ousted, Iraq out of Kuwait. But that's when it started, because after we got back, my mom and my dad and like everyone on our side of the family, they would always be, so the Iraqi secret police would always like check on people who were coming from like suspicious places, especially since like they invaded Kuwait like that same year. They were always asking about, things like, I wasn't around back then, but this is one of the reasons that contributed to it. They would always ask also about my uncle, who left early during Saddam's reign. He was a communist, and the Ba'ath Party didn't really allow for dissent or anything like that. So they were always being interrogated. There was a few instances that like scared us personally. A few of our friends, of my mom's friends, they were actually, maybe I can actually get into this later, but something happened to one of our friends that really scared us, because we thought we could stay there for a while. But after I was born, like things kept deteriorating, like war was escalating. We lived in a neighborhood. Eventually the war actually reached our neighborhood in 2000. We left in '98, but Sunnis and Shias started like shooting each other at the time. And so when we left there, we snuck through. My dad couldn't leave. He was a petroleum engineer. So in political science, you learn something about brain drain. And when like a country is under like sanctions or like an embargo, the doctors, lawyers, and engineers, they all want to leave because they're considered like high quality professions, and they can't practice there. My dad had to bribe a few people and get a fake passport. And it didn't, the passport was only like active for like 2 days. It was a fake one, and they couldn't like extend it for longer than that. So when we snuck through the border, we passed several checkpoints, and we went to Jordan, and after that, we took a flight from money that my uncle sent my mom, $750, which the dollar was actually illegal in Iraq at the time. So we had to sneak it past the first checkpoint. My mom was telling me about this this lady that she was like helping her out. So when she was actually at the checkpoint, she told her, "Do you have any gold on you?" And my mom said, "No." "Do you have any dollars on you?" And my mom was honest. She was like, "Yeah, I do." This was in private, she had a hijab on and everything, so they didn't do this in public. They took her to her room and took her off and searched her. And she told her how to hide the money. She told her how to go. And she said, no promises, just be honest, and hopefully someone else is good enough, and they'll let you pass through. Fortunately, she wasn't searched, but that's how ultimately we got through there, and then took our flight using that money to Lebanon. And then after that.
Okay. Everything? How about your family? What were the circumstances that got you started on the journey?
Well, it's funny though, like, nobody really decides to be a refugee. It's not something that you can just wake up one day and decide to be a refugee.
Yeah.
There has to be a cause behind it. Now, I think it just goes back from like generation to generation, at least for me. I'm originally like from like my family tribe. It's like this tribe in Rwanda. They called us the Banyamulenge, which was part of like the Tutsi tribe. So, like the circumstances in Africa, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard the Hutu and Tutsi kind of like conflicts going on just from back. It's still going on even today. So they flee Rwanda from the 1994 genocide. So from there, even though I wasn't born there, I feel like I was just born as a refugee because I was in a country in Congo where it was not like my parents' native country. So I was still a refugee. I was like born a refugee. So from there, the war followed us even in Congo, where we fled Congo, found refuge in a camp in Burundi, where we kind of like found a safe haven over there for like a good like 2 years. And then the war also followed us in that small town of Burundi, which was called Gatumba. There was also a massacre over there also. Then my family kind of like separated. We were all like just everywhere in Burundi, but we all still in Burundi. But honestly, I was like 8 years old, and I didn't know like parents were at that time, like where my family was. It was only like me and my older brother that we found ourselves like at that time. So it took me like me and my brother like a good like 6 months to actually like find each other like with my family and everything. But at that time my dad was in the process of being applying to as a refugee to come to the United States. So then we got added to a case, and it's a really long process. Like, United States is one of the hardest places to like come as refugees because of all the security and everything. So it takes a while. Like, they went back to all the programs and background from like back when my parents were like young. So they knew the cause. They knew why we're like running away from this country, because at some point the war was just gonna follow, regardless of what, just because of a tribe. So I think the trouble has to be like the main reason why my family decided to like come to the United States.